Buenos dias from beautiful Barrio Anuca in Matagalpa, Nicaragua. It is February 1st, Sunday Fun Day, coming up on 3:30 Central. I'm going to do a quick video and a show of thanks for a new friend here in Nicaragua. But before I do that, I wanted to give the reminder this Wednesday, as in not tomorrow, not in 2 days, but 3 days from now at 5 Central, 6 Eastern, doing my first ever live stream. That will be 365 days in country, my first year as an expat in Nicaragua, opening up the airwaves for some questions, see if I can answer some, give some shout outs to people. But before we get to Wednesday, I want to do a quick short video. As many of you know, I go to a location here in Matagalpa for breakfast almost every day, and sometimes I go back for a second meal or a dessert. Named Brooklyn Cafe. It's an incredible cafe restaurant. They've got great staff. They've got a full menu for those that drink. There's some liquor on the board, but I am there almost every morning for my breakfast and coffee, and I tend to get my guilt-free breakfast is a granizado. And some of you have heard me mention it before. The granizado is an enormous bowl of frozen fruit, so it's like a smoothie in a bowl. The smoothie portion of it is watermelon, strawberry, in almond milk with honey. So that's the frozen puree that gets topped with shredded coconut, granola, and fresh sliced banana. That's about as guilt-free of a breakfast as I can start my day off. And for those who knew me in the States, I wasn't big on North American fruit. Now, I live in Florida. I drank orange juice. I love most of the citrus. I love lemons. I love limes. I like the drinks that people put lemons and limes in. I love pineapple. Grew pineapples in the backyard in Florida. Throw pineapple on my pizza. I know that's a sin to some, but it's incredible to others, especially if you've lived in Hawaii and had true Hawaiian pie. But not a fan of the traditional fruits of North America. I was never a fan of apples. I was never a fan of pears, mangoes, plums, cherries, you name it, just not in my realm. I hated the bananas that you find in North America, and yet the bananas found in North America are all grown down here. I have not been served a traditional yellow Cavendish that you get in the States here. I get other varieties, and I couldn't pretend to name all of them. There's about 5 main varieties that are sold and grown in this region, other than what we would think of to do the Maduro Platino with, which is another one of my favorites. I love the small fried green bananas with some queso cheese and maybe a little bit of a local mayo with it. But embrace fruit as part of a healthier lifestyle now that I'm retired. I really can't go to the gym with the fake knees and the bad back and the rheumatoid and all that stuff, but I can walk. So I don't take taxis. I will walk. There's some times where I'm walking across town and it's 2 miles each way, and I'm doing it. So walking is about the simplest, least expensive, easiest way to get cardio and to keep the muscles limber while not doing weight-bearing, heavy lifting, and adding bulk in the gym. My days of being a gym rat are long gone. I do look forward to the day of having a home gym when I have a home, but that one's going to be primarily stretching machine, like an advanced Nautilus or something like that with a bunch of bands on it. But back to for today's. So the Brooklyn Cafe is where I go for my breakfast. I get the granizado and I get 2 cappuccino especials. The especial means that they use a local coffee plantations coffee, which is one of the few in the region that's actually rated organic, and that comes from the Finca Esperanza Verde. So shout out to that farm because they make an incredible coffee. It's one of the best tasting coffees I've found in the country so far, and I am in coffee country. The other funny is locals tend to drink a lot of instant coffee, which is rated at less than half of what our local grown coffees are. So drinking the local coffee supports the local community, keeps me on that 5-mile diet type deal. So when I go to Brooklyn Cafe, the baristas One in particular who's been there for quite some time. His name is Fernando. I told Fernando I was making this video. I've been talking about making this video for a while because every morning he does very unique designs in the foam, and I get some coffee art in my morning. I take photos, I share it to him for his photo album. I share it with the family on WhatsApp. I share it with our local Matagalpa page for our expat WhatsApp group. And it's just a nice way to acknowledge the work of locals and, a little tranquility while you're having your coffee, having your breakfast. So my desayuno, my dos cappuccinos especial. And come to find out today that today was Fernando's last day at work, in a good way. Like many Nikas, he has a side hustle. And that side hustle is that he brings in select designer clothes for the local community, and then he promotes them through all his social media pages like an influencer. I guess that is an influencer. I might be a content creator now, but I'm not promoting particular products for personal gain, so I don't consider myself an influencer, although I'd like to think at least that I'm an educational informant for people about living here. But Fernando, really nice guy. Been trying to support him by promoting his artwork, and today was his last day at the cafe. He is going to be a full-time entrepreneur. So congratulations. I was of a similar age when I left a quote-unquote secure job where I knew where my next paycheck was coming, and I threw it all in for what was initially a part-time gig at the Cigar Hut down Fort Myers Beach for about 2.5 months. I was doing that as well as working at the Lee County Human Resource Office for Board of County Commissioners in Southwest Florida. And after our 3rd month of being in business, and I'm working like the entire weekend, I'm putting in like 30 hours on the weekend on top of about 50 hours at the county. We had an incredible night of work, and I went back and I gave a month's notice to find a replacement. And I threw caution to the wind, and I was the sweat equity in a, at that time, 4-person venture. It quickly became a 3-person venture, and they're still in existence now after all the multiple hurricanes that have happened on Fort Myers Beach over the years. I believe they're on location number 4. This location, with every new construction, they build them better. There's still, obviously, it's still an island, so there's still risk of flooding. I think they have a lot less risk of wind damage now. But I support entrepreneurship. This country has a young, thriving workforce, and the more independent business owners we can support, the better. So I wish Fernando the best of luck in everything he's doing. I will keep in touch with him. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give you about a 3-minute reel of a bunch of the photos I've taken over the time with a little talk over with them. So hold on to that thought, and you're going to get some narration over the videos. At the end of this, I'll give you a reminder, please give a thumbs up. It really helps support the algorithm. The YouTube algorithm gods are hungry. They want thumbs. They want likes. They want sharing. They want you to comment. So all of those things bring these videos up to a higher level of viewability. And because I'm not posting all the time, and I've given the warning that I only post when I have something to post, I'm not posting for the sake of being in front of the camera. I do have a lot of studying I need to do. I've got a trip coming back to Florida really soon. I've got some music gear that still needs to be set up. That is coming along nicely. But with that, give a like, a thumbs up, a share, let somebody know, and I will see all of you on Wednesday for the live stream. And through the magic of limited editing skills, here is our slideshow of coffee art. That is me. Thank you, Fernando. Moving along, an Indian elephant. Looks very Hindu. From this winter, we have our Frosty the Snowman. A crazy-looking version of me. Yes, it was time for Thanksgiving. Unique designs of a loving flower. One of our local birds. I can't pronounce it in Spanish yet. Very metal. This was a very metal dessert last night. The seahorse. We don't know who he is, but he looks like he's been having fun. It was New Year's. We have a Santa Teddy. From the distance, you can see just it's a funny face. It's an ugly Santa. Another unique bird. A loving breakfast. This is the shoebill, a koala bear on eucalyptus. More loving breakfast. Yes, he doesn't look happy. A funky looking turkey. More coffee with my famous granizado breakfast. We have a swan. We have what I believe to be the monkey. Yes, monkey in a tree. This was Fort Myers Beach as it was described to them. That is my famous buddy Svengoolie of Chicago fame. A happy cat, Gato. I called that the universe. Better word. This was me by mistake swirling my coffee and came up with a horse. That is the angry avocado. El Diablo was Dominio, a teddy bear with love. More loving, simple art. Uso, a bear, a very loud bear. And also Uso, because he saw my tattoo. We have the famous Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas. The actual Christmas tree with some presents underneath it. And from New Year's celebrating 2026. The sun needs sunglasses. We have a goat. We have a bunny for Easter. And we have another swan or goose. Very happy reindeer, looks more like Snoopy. I almost called that the H.R. Geiger design, looks like aliens. Another happy cat. And that is the elf on the shelf. Our third, Felice Gato. Poinsettia, a poinsettia plant from Christmas. We've got Jack back for the attack. And some of the desserts that I try to only have on the weekends, once per week. This is what will get you into trouble. And some of the staff from our Christmas party. Really great people working here. All of them are professionals. That was the baristas. Closest on my right is the one leaving. And this is Jason, one of the newer members of the crew. And these are my servers. And with that, another shot of that delicious breakfast I have most days. And sometimes it's a little hot, so an iced coffee's in order. I want to give a reminder again, thank you, Fernando, for all the assistance you provided at Brooklyn Cafe. And to all of you, adios.